Hmm. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back again to our mentoring recovery support group. And it's always good to bring some informative information dealing with recovery, dealing with reentry, whether you're coming from residential treatment or from incarceration. And so the goal is to reshape the thinking of those who may be affected by some type of substance abuse or some type of reentry back into society. And so, therefore, we're going to bring you some information. I'm going to share some information, rather. And this article is brought to us by Cornerstone Healing Center.com. You can go online and retrieve this article, and it's brought to us by Cornerstone Healing Center.com. That is. And so it starts off. So the title, all right, let me put the title up. And so today's title is Breaking the Change, the Cycle of Addiction and Incarceration. Once again, this is our recovery support group. And so today we're going to share some information about breaking the change, the cycle of addiction and incarceration. It starts off by saying, did you know that according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, a staggering 85% of incarcerated individuals in the United States have a substance use disorder or were in prison for a drug-related crime. Okay. Shockingly, according to a recent report, only 11% of inmates with addiction and substance abuse issues receive treatment during their time in prison. All right. And so there's a high number of incarcerated people, and then there is a low rate of people who actually receive some type of substance abuse treatment while they're incarcerated. The connection between addiction and incarceration is a complex and intertwined cycle affecting individuals and sobriety and society. Excuse me. This article explores the intricate relationship between substance abuse and imprisonment, shedding light on the factors perpetuating this vicious cycle. Right? We will dive into the emotional toll on incarcerated individuals and the broader societal consequences, emphasizing the pressing need for transformative change in our addiction and criminal justice approach. Right? So, one of today's topic we're gonna discuss, and that is understanding substance abuse and addiction. All right. And so this article says substance abuse is the harmful or excessive use of drugs or alcohol negatively impacting an individual physical, mental, or social well-being. It involves the misuse of substances, often in a manner that deviates from approved medical or social norms. On the other hand, addiction is a chronic and compulsive disorder characterized by an individual's inability to control their consumption of a particular substance despite knowing its adverse effects. It goes beyond mere abuse and involves physical and psychological dependence, leading to an intense craving for the substance, tolerance, withdrawal symptoms upon cessation, and a strong focus on obtaining and using the substance despite the resulting personal, social, and professional problems. All right, and so that gives us some understanding about substance abuse and addiction. The article goes a little further and talks about the commonly abused substance and statistic. And so it has alcohol, it talks about tobacco, nicotine, then it goes on to marijuana, prescription opioids, cocaine, methamphetamine. And then it goes into how it is used and the statistic of that, right? And so we're not going to go in verbatim of how drugs are used and the statistics of that, but we will give some alarming statistics, and I want to share that, and so that we can gauge of how harmful drugs are within our community. All right, and so according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, 85% of prison population has an active substance use disorder or were incarcerated for a drug or drug use crime. Data collected through 2007 through 8 and 9 shows that two-thirds, 63% of sentences jail inmates met the criteria for drug dependence or abuse, right? And so this goes into the aspect of why it's important. You may have heard prison reform, you may have heard people receiving treatment nowadays instead of punishment. And so this article is going to touch on that a little bit as we go a little further, all right? And so it goes on to say from 2001 to 2018, the number of people who have died of drug or alcohol intoxication in state prison increased by more than 600%. That is a staggering number. People who actually still using, once they was using before they got incarcerated, while they're incarcerated, they continue to use, and this report says that 600% of people from 2001, 2018, 17 years lapse, states that these people have actually died of drug or alcohol intoxication in state prison. That is alarming. That is very much alarming. It said nearly 300,000 people in the United States are held in the state and federal prison for drug law violation. And so the reason I'm sharing this information because a lot of times we may dismiss or this the incarceration aspect and don't know why some of the things that why people commit crime because they are under the influence from the disease aspect, and maybe those are factors that contribute to their incarceration. However, we don't want to dispel that as just the norm. Okay, you use drugs, you're supposed to go to jail, you come home. No, we want to shed light on that, and so that find out how can we turn this information that we're reading, turn these numbers around, because a lot of people are being affected. And so we know from reading materials, studying that from evidence-based material that addiction, whether it be alcohol or drugs, it's not just an individual disease. It affects not only the individual, but also the family. And so if that, just imagine 600% of people from 2001 to 2018 had literally lost their lives. So just imagine how many families or the percentage of families has actually been affected. All right. And so now we want to go into a little bit about the vicious cycle unveiled. The link between addiction and incarceration is a complex and multifaceted relationship that impacts individuals from all walks of life, no matter who you are. When someone becomes entangled in the grip of addiction, their actions may lead to legal consequences, often resulting in imprisonment. Substance abuse becomes a coping mechanism for many, offering temporary relief from underlying emotional or psychological struggles. However, as addiction progresses, the individual's ability to control their behavior diminishes, leading to risky actions that may violate the law. Moreover, addiction can impair judgment and impulse control, increasing the likelihood of engaging in criminal activity to sustain their habit. When these actions result in arrest and conviction, individuals with substance abuse issues often find themselves caught in a cycle. Remember, we're talking about a the vicious cycle unveiled, all right? Where incarceration does little to address the root cause of their addiction. Without proper access to rehabilitation and treatment programs, the cycle perpetuates, making it challenging for them to break free from this interlinked web of addiction and imprisonment. Consequently, in addressing this issue requires a comprehensive approach that combines support, understanding, and rehabilitative measures to give individuals a chance at recovery and successful integration into society. And so this needs to be addressed from a multifaceted approach. And so not just one or two entities, but many entities need to be considered when we're talking about people on drugs, people addicted to drugs, people mental state that's not well, people decision making that's not well. And so we need professional people to address these issues beyond incarceration and while they are incarcerated. So that is a key factor as well. And so let's look at what the article want us to know about factors contributing to the cycle. So it says factors contributing to addiction among incarcerated individuals are numerous and complex. Let me read that again. It says factors contributing to addiction among incarcerated individuals are numerous and complex. Firstly, many inmates already struggle with pre-existing substance abuse issues before entering the criminal justice system. Substance abuse might have played a significant role in their involvement in criminal activities, leading to their arrest and subsequent incarceration. Secondly, within the prison environment, access to treatment and rehabilitation for substance abuse is often limited or inadequate. And so now you have someone who's having an addiction, commit a crime, goes to jail, and so they're spending their time not receiving the appropriate help, or they're not willing to attend the program that's being offered. Because I am someone from both backgrounds, from addiction and incarceration, and a lot of times there are, I know when I first went into the prison system, there was a limited access to rehabilitation, reform groups, programs, things of that nature. It wasn't until the latter part where they start to give an enhanced treatment through the therapeutic community, peer therapeutic community programs. But I don't know how it's ran, but when I was there, they was giving us an in debt where if you sign up for the program, you have to be there longer than 1 year. And so that for me was a great outcome because I began to learn more about my addiction and how to respond when certain factors appear in my life. So yes, but this article gives us a clear understanding that there may be people who are not receiving the adequate help, or they may be refusing the help that's being offered. So now there is another dilemma. So this article goes on to say, this lack of support can hinder an individual's effort to overcome their addiction and address the underlying issues driving their behavior. Additionally, social, economic, and environmental factors are crucial in shaping addiction patterns among incarcerated individuals. Poverty, unemployment, lack of education, and exposure to crime-ridden neighborhoods contribute to a higher risk of substance abuse and subsequent entanglement with the criminal justice system. To break the cycle of addiction and incarceration, addressing these factors necessitates comprehensive interventions that encompass rehabilitation, social support, and opportunities for positive change, both during and after incarceration. So that is key. Not only while people are inside receiving help, but once one is released, continuum of care. That's how it was presented to me when I went through the treatment program. The continuum of care was stated, and it was recommended that I partake in it, in which I did partake in it, and so it taught me a great deal of the importance of learning more about how one responds to whether it be trigger, urges, craving, people, places, and things, or situational circumstances. All these things play a major role in how one responds to conflict, anger, and managing those type of behaviors as well. And so it says factor contributing to addiction among incarcerated individuals. So factors say pre-existing substance abuse issues, lack of access to treatment and rehabilitation, socioeconomic, environmental factors. All right, and it says for pre-existing substance abuse issue, many incarcerated individuals enter the criminal justice system with pre-existing substance abuse problems. These issues might have been an underlying cause of their involvement in criminal activity, leading to their arrest and subsequent imprisonment. Substance abuse can exacerbate criminal behavior, impair decision-making, and contribute to a cycle of addiction and criminality. So there is a vicious cycle. There is a link. So basically what this article is saying, that there is a link to why people not only use drugs, become addicted to the drugs, there's decision making, why they commit crime, how they get in prison, and while they're there, the lack of or limited resources to rehabilitating information. So these things need to be addressed. And so that's why we are talking about it today. I don't want to say, well, we know it goes on, but we want to move beyond that. We know. We don't want to be the know-it-all people. We want to know, give us some fact-finding information that can assist us and give us the appropriate information on top of that. So let's talk about the impact on individuals. The impact on addiction and incarceration on individuals is profound and far-reaching. Those grappling with substance abuse often face emotional and psychological tolls, experiencing mental health struggles and trauma. All right, let me read that again. It says, those grappling with substance abuse often face emotional and psychological tolls, experiencing mental health struggles and trauma. Relationships with family and friends may be strained, leading to isolation and a sense of disconnection. On the other hand, when individuals find themselves incarcerated due to drug-related offenses, the experience can be physically and emotionally challenging, right? So on top of the emotional, psychological toll, mental health struggles and trauma, family and friends strains, isolation, being disconnected. When a person, this article says, when a person becomes incarcerated, that is another challenge. So imagine having all these issues compounded and not being addressed adequately. That can wear on a person mindset. It could wear on a person physically, socially, and so these things, if not addressed appropriately, when a person re-enter back into society and they come home, and now they are already been abandoned and disconnected from so much and dealing with so much, and if they don't get the appropriate professional help, or if there's not a recovery coach that's in the community or in their life, or mentor, or a counselor or a sponsor or someone that can help them navigate through all of this, I want to say psychological traffic, but all of this turmoil that they have experienced, then there may be a relapse if not addressed appropriately. The article says being separated from loved ones and society can lead to feeling of despair and hopelessness. Okay. Moreover, the stigma associated with being a formerly incarcerated individual may hinder reintegration into the community post-release. Addressing the impact on individuals requires a compassionate approach, prioritizing mental health support, access to rehabilitation and reentry programs, and efforts to reduce social stigma, empowering them to rebuild their lives after facing the dual burdens of addiction and imprisonment. Wow, this is some heavy information because not only are we dealing with one factor of substance abuse, but we're talking about the incarcerated information. I am one of the person who has been blessed to have a support network once released from incarcerated, and that been through my family and friends, loved ones, and also being able to make a decision, a conscious decision to want to change, because a lot of times, be frankly, we have to take responsibility and look at ourselves. What can we do better, and learn from the experience, and learn from the setbacks, and take those challenges as something that we can turn it around. And believing and knowing that you are able to do that, you can make continuing strides for success. A lot of times, I am an advocate of, if you're willing to help yourself, people are willing to assist you in that process. And so that need to be stated more often, because a lot of times, as the article says, people be after facing substance abuse and incarceration, they may feel a sense of loneliness and despair, and they might just think that there's no hope, when there is hope. But we have to be willing, 100% willing to say, hey, I'm gonna give this good life, or what we would call I don't want to use the word sucker, but the good boy life instead of the bad boy life. I wanted to give the good boy life a try, because I lived the bad boy life so long, so many years. So let me try the good boy life. It gotta be better than the bad boy life, because I see a lot of success over here in the good boy life. And so that's the mind. That was for lack of a better word, but those are the framework we have to look at, change from how we perceive the information, how we can look at it from the path of, do I want to go backwards or do I want to move forward? We have the choice. And so we have the choice to choose. And so I hope someone watching this, that they will choose the right path instead of the wrong path. The next aspect, or the next topic we want to talk about, and that is societal consequences. The societal consequences of the cycle of addiction and incarceration are far-reaching and multifaceted. At a broader level, the prevalence of substance abuse and drug-related offenses contribute to the burden of overcrowded prisons, straining resources, and perpetuating a costly cycle of incarceration. From an individual perspective, those caught in the grips of addiction may experience strained relationships, financial hardships, and diminished productivity, impacting their lives and those of their families and communities. Furthermore, the criminalization of drug offenses often leads to stigmatization and marginalization, hindering individual opportunity for reintegration into society post-release. All right? And so there is a lot to be addressed. Now you're facing not only the criminalization of drug offense, but also now you've been stigmatized, labeled, stereotyped, put in a box as this criminal who may not be perceived as someone who's ready for change, and then it may hinder one's opportunity for reintegration, because now you have to go through a classification committee, and they will have to make a decision based upon the information that's in front of them, whether or not you have met the requirement that they're asking for you to accomplish. All right, and so those are challenges, but yet those it's not that they can't be overcome. So it says the societal consequences also extend to increased healthcare costs, lost workforce potential, and heightened recidivism rates. Addressing these consequences require a comprehensive approach that focuses on prevention, access to treatment, and rehabilitation, and a shift towards a more compassionate and rehabilitative criminal justice system, fostering a society that supports individuals in their journey towards recovery and reintegration. So we're talking about recovery and reintegration. That's the whole key, the whole premise of this information that we're bringing, so that we can address the recovery aspect, shed some light on that, and the reintegration process. All right, and so the next topic of discussion: breaking the cycle, a multifaceted approach. To break the cycle of addiction and incarceration, we need to take a multifaceted approach that deals with the root causes of substance abuse and is linked to criminal behavior, excuse me. Firstly, we need to focus on prevention efforts that target at-risk individuals before they become. Let me read that again. First, we need to focus on prevention efforts that target at-risk individuals before they become involved in the criminal justice system. This can be achieved by providing early intervention, education, and community-based support. Second, we need to offer alternatives to incarceration for nonviolent drug offenders. Okay, and so those are programs that's set in place as I speak. They have, as I may mention, prison reform. They have drug court. They have all these programs now that can literally give a person an opportunity instead of being wasting away inside of a jail cell for years or months, however the time may be, where they have the opportunity to sit into a community-based residential program where they can actually receive the help that's basically needed. All right, and so this article giving us a better insight of breaking the cycle, a multifaceted approach. Programs such as diversion programs and drug courts can provide access to treatment and rehabilitation. Thirdly, it is crucial to ensure access to evidence-based treatment options, all right, mental health support, and comprehensive reentry program post-release. This will help support individuals in their journey toward recovery and successful community reintegration. In addition, addressing social economic disparities and providing equal access to education, employment, and housing opportunities can help break the cycle of addiction and criminality. We can create a more compassionate, effective, and sustainable response to addiction and incarceration challenges by fostering collaboration between law enforcement, healthcare professionals, and community organizations. All right. And so with that said, we're going to look at the last topic of discussion today, and we're going to read that, and that is the need for comprehensive addiction treatment. The need for comprehensive addiction treatment is paramount in addressing the complex and interrelated issues of substance abuse and its impact on individuals and society. Addiction is a chronic and multifaceted disorder that requires a holistic approach, combining medical, psychological, and social interventions. Treating an addiction solely as a criminal issue perpetuates the cycle of incarceration without addressing the underlying causes of substance abuse. All right, and so it says comprehensive addiction treatment offer evidence-based therapies, counseling, and support to help individuals understand and cope with the root triggers of their addiction. By focusing on prevention, early intervention, and long-term support, comprehensive treatment seeks to break the cycle of addiction and reduce the societal burdens of crime, recidivism, and healthcare costs. Empowering individuals with the tools for recovery and reintegration can lead to positive transformation in both their lives and the communities that they are a part of, fostering a healthier and more compassionate society for all. And so basically, when we all come together to look at the humanity aspect of how we can better help someone get healthier and change their lives, we have greater healthcare outcomes. And so that's the main focus, is to have much greater healthcare outcome by having all the professional entities working together hand in hand. And so that's it for this week. Until the next week, we hope to bring you some more informative information. Every week, it's not going to be talking about addiction and incarceration. But one thing for certain, we will be talking about substance abuse and how we can better understand it and better ways to provide services. All right. And so until the next time, take care. My name is Craig. Stay safe, everybody.